The Virginia Horse Industry Board and the Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association are proud sponsors of Virginia farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Large or small, Virginia farmers work year-round to help put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. This week, we traveled to Richmond, where we talked to VDACS Commissioner Sandy Adams. Then, Chris Mullins shares tips on growing blackberries from the ground up. We'll also have the Ag Calendar and a Minute in the Field video. All this plus the Ag News of the Week on this edition of Virginia Farming. The strain of avian influenza that has been diagnosed on the West Coast in the past few months has recently been detected in the Midwest, raising concern that the disease will spread to poultry on the East Coast. Now, poultry operators are urged to continue strict biosecurity measures, such as disinfecting footwear, vehicle tires, equipment, and really anything else that enters and exits poultry houses. All poultry owners, both commercial and backyard flock owners, are advised to prevent exposure of poultry to wild waterfowl from flyovers or fecal contamination of ponds and streams, as the disease appears to be spread by wild waterfowl. This particular strain of influenza does not affect people. Well, the USDA is setting up a partnership to help schools cooperate with each other to create healthy meals for students. The USDA's Bob Ellison has more.
March is National Nutrition Month, and Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack was at Woodville Elementary School in Richmond, Virginia, promoting the importance of healthier diets for children.
If we don't address this issue comprehensively, then these youngsters will be faced with a long-term series of chronic diseases and illnesses that they'll take into adult life.
And that's why Vilsack said the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act is so important. It reforms the school meals programs by improving the critical nutrition and hunger safety net for millions of children.
And we are in the process of implementing it, which is improving the quality of the meals that these youngsters are served. But we need to do more.
Vilsack announced the expansion of the Team Up for Success training initiative.
This is a program that essentially takes schools that have succeeded in instituting these new standards and mentoring schools that are struggling, pairing a succeeding school district with a struggling school district.
Through the initiative, USDA's Food and Nutrition Service will work with schools to identify challenges and provide resources to promote a healthier school day. In Washington, for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I'm Bob Ellison.
Thanks, Bob. Route 11 potato chips are no strangers to our show. You may have seen the special episode that features the company, and it's one we're sure to air again. Well, last week, Governor McAuliffes announced that Route 11 Potato Chips will expand its existing potato chip production facility in Shenandoah County. The company will invest more than $1.2 million and create 13 jobs in Mount Jackson, while sourcing nearly half of its new potato and sweet potato purchases from Virginia agricultural producers. The Commonwealth is partnering with Shenandoah County and Route 11 on this project through the Governor's Agriculture and Forestry Industries Development Fund. Well, one person who was present for the Route 11 presentation was Sandy Adams. Adams is our VDACS Commissioner, and she's no stranger to the agency. Today, we'll learn more about Commissioner Adams and talk about the state of Virginia agriculture. That's straight ahead on Ag Insights. Today we're in Richmond, Virginia, and we're visiting the offices of the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And I'm meeting with Commissioner Sandy Adams. And Commissioner Adams, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Amy.
So this is the first time I've had the opportunity to interview you. When did you take the role of Commissioner?
I officially was appointed by Governor McAuliffes in June of last year. So, gosh, time is flying.
Almost a year.
Almost a year, but I was also acting as acting commissioner since Matt Lohr left in December.
Right.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of background about yourself. I don't know if everyone's very familiar with you, some of the roles that you've had leading up to this.
Okay, well, I've been in the department itself for about 18 years now. I came in 1996 as the finance director. Stayed in that role for about 3 years and then had the opportunity to apply for the Director of Administrative and Financial Services. And that's the role I was in for 10 years, which really gave me the opportunity to learn the agency, I guess, from the inside out, because I was responsible for budget and information systems, I guess, two of the larger things that you really have to learn the agency, what it's about when you're dealing with those two administrative support services.
Wow.
From there, I guess I was in the right place at the right time, I like to say. When now Secretary Haymore left the commissioner post, at about the same time the deputy commissioner at that time retired, so there was not a commissioner and there was not a deputy commissioner. So Secretary Haymore asked me to fill in for a few months until they appointed Matt Lohr as commissioner. So I got to serve as acting commissioner, I guess, for about 5 months at that point as well.
Okay.
And then about the same time that Matt Lohr was appointed commissioner 5 years ago, I applied for the deputy commissioner post and was selected for that, and then had the opportunity to work with Matt as commissioner and serve as deputy.
So you've been involved with VDACS for years.
I have.
You really have a lot of...
I have a lot of state experience.
You really do,
and a lot
absolutely.
of agriculture experience.
Well, agriculture experience, that leads me to my next question. Do you have any personal background in agriculture?
I don't. That was one of the reasons that I really put my name in the hat for a while as a potential candidate for commissioner, because I was always afraid and kind of thought, well, the ag industry probably wants somebody who grew up on a farm and farmed. And the longer time went on, I came to the realization that most farmers probably don't want to be in Richmond. And I had been in the agency long enough that I felt like I'd really learned Virginia agriculture. And, you know, I think our goal as the agency is to support the agriculture industry, not to grow crops, but to support the industry as a whole. And so I felt, after thinking through for a few months, I thought I had that experience.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, as long as you've been here and the people you've worked with, they've all had agriculture experience, so I'm sure you learned from them as well. So I don't think you have to be milking cows or planting corn to have that experience to do what you're doing.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. You know, we're supporting the industry as a whole. We also, in the agency, have a lot of regulatory roles, so we're providing a lot of consumer protection. You know, in our weights and measures program, where we inspect measurement devices in the agency, gasoline pumps, and also in food safety, provide a lot of food safety with our food safety inspection. So we support the marketing of Virginia ag products, but then we provide a consumer protection role as well.
It's a big job.
It's a diversified job. We have diversified agriculture industry, and then the agency is, I try to tell everyone, I think we're the most diverse agency when you look at the different types of things that we're responsible for. Not the largest by far, but
right,
maybe the most diverse.
A lot of tentacles out there.
For sure.
Well, you recently attended the Agriculture Trade Conference.
I just got back from that. That's
and
correct.
I was wondering if you could share with us some of the highlights from that conference.
Oh, sure. Well, the big highlight of the day was Governor McAuliffes announcing that Virginia had once again broken the export record for Virginia. I believe it was 3.35, I believe, yeah, $3.35 billion worth of exports last year, which is about a 14% increase from the previous year.
Which was an increase from the year before.
Year before, yeah. I think since 2010, it's been an overall increase. Governor McAuliffes keeps saying he wants us to be the #1 export of agriculture products on the East Coast. So with the announcement,
he's a big gunner for that, and I think that's great.
He is. He's a big cheerleader for agriculture, and we surpassed North Carolina this year. So we're #2.
Wow.
So I think we're telling Georgia, watch out.
That's right. We're going to step into that #1
Right.
spot before too long.
Right. And what I also learned was, in addition to surpassing the record and having record number of exports, it was also a year when the prices for corn and soybeans were down. So if commodity prices had been higher, there's room for growth. There's definitely
That's
room for
true.
growth.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about hemp. We were talking about diversity, and several weeks ago we talked to the founder of the Virginia Industrial Hemp Coalition, and it made me realize the potential that's there for, especially I keep thinking about our southwestern farmers who are not growing and selling tobacco like they did years and years ago.
Correct.
This gives them, something to grow, something that they can actually make money on again. And are there any other crops that are on the horizon that we're seeing that might help us diversify even further?
I don't know of, off the top of my head, I can't think of another crop that's on the horizon. I think industrial hemp is definitely the big one right now. This year we're just going to be looking at actually what the General Assembly passed and what's in the Farm Bill gives us the opportunity to do research for industrial hemp. And so we'll be working with the universities that are interested. Of course, I think Virginia Tech, probably Virginia State have an interest in doing research for industrial hemp.
So from your perspective as commissioner, what do you think one of our biggest hurdles is that we need to get over in agriculture to help us continue to grow?
I think the biggest hurdle probably right now is the perception, or I guess I should say misconception, on agriculture. I think we've gotten away, a lot of the urban areas, we've gotten so far away now from, like myself, people who didn't grow up on a farm and weren't that close to agriculture, although my mother did grow up on a farm, so I had some connection there, but people just don't know where their food comes from, and so they have perceptions of what agriculture is. And unfortunately, I think sometimes we hear people say production agriculture and factory farm almost in the same sentence. And I've had the great opportunity in my job to go out and visit so many different farms, farms that are growing crops. I've been in poultry houses, I've been to dairy farms, and I haven't seen anything that looks like a factory.
Right.
All the livestock are so well taken care of. I mean, they look like they're living the happy life to me.
Absolutely.
And even though there's a lot of production going on out there, it is what you think of when you thought of a traditional farm, at least when I was growing up. So I think we need to be able to educate farmers. When I say we, the agency can help in that respect, and we try to through our website and some other means. But I think the ag industry as a whole in Virginia just needs to do a better job of not selling themselves from the amount of products that they sell, but selling themselves from, here is where your food comes from, and it's a good place.
And the quality of food that we're growing and producing here in the Commonwealth.
Exactly.
Another issue I see us having in Virginia agriculture, and as a nation as a whole, honestly, is the age of our farmers is around 60. And I don't see where we have a lot of young folks being interested in filling those farmers' shoes. How do we fix that problem? How do we get these young folk back into ag?
Well, you're absolutely right. I think the average age of the farmer here in Virginia now is almost 60, 59 and a half years old, and it seems to be creeping up a little bit. I think the thing that's positive right now is ag education and food-related nutrition classes. More and more young people are entering those classes now. The numbers are up at Virginia State and Virginia Tech. Kids, young adults that want to get into agriculture. And so that's a positive thing. We also here at the agency have worked with Virginia Farm Bureau on a Farm Link program. So there's a capability now. We haven't gotten to the perfect match yet, but if you're an older farmer and you don't have anyone in your family that wants to take on the family farm and continue that, then you can put your name out there on a list of farms that are available for sale. Because I've had the opportunity to talk to a few farmers that have said, my kids aren't interested in coming back to the farm, or I don't have any children that can come back to the farm, but yet I don't want my farm to end with me. So they can put their name, I guess, on a so-called list in Farm Link. And then young people who are interested in going into farming can also put their names into Farm Link.
So it connects the two.
And we'll connect. And we have Virginia Tech does some classes for us. Our Office of Farmland Preservation works with them and also does some classes and education on if you wanted to get into farming, here are some ways you can do it. And I think, a lot of people want to get back to the farm now. You hear a lot of people that say, I want to know where my food comes from, but I want to grow my own food and I want to grow it from my neighbors. And the interesting thing I found with a lot of people will say, well, I want to get into farming. How can I do that? And so I'll tell them about the Farm Link program and Dakar Office of Farmland Preservation. And I'll say, well, what kind of farming do you want to get into? And they'll go, well, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this, or I'm thinking maybe that. Like,
right.
You need to make that decision first.
Exactly. But what a great program that we get back to the supply and demand. You know, you've got two people who need things, and you're connecting those two, and that's a really great program. And I also think another program that you all are involved with is Ag in the Class.
Yes, we are.
I think that program has really done some magnificent things.
It has, and we've got Ag Literacy Week, and so we have about 50 people in the agency and Secretariat that will be out reading to schools and hoping to educate the children at the 2nd and 3rd grade level and younger about agriculture and get that interest involved.
And you know, I always say that's the easy part, because kids are naturally curious. They want to know. They love to pet the animals. They love to get dirty, get their hands in the garden. But I think educating adults is just as necessary. And I think sometimes that's a little harder because they're not used to hearing, oh wait, you know, that milk doesn't come off the shelf of the grocery store.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, as commissioner, do you have any goals set in place that you would like to achieve during your time in office?
Well, of course, our mission is to promote the economic growth and development of Virginia agriculture, and we support Secretary Haymore is foremost on trade and domestically too, selling our products. So my goal is just to support that effort. And one of the best benefits of working in this agency is the great staff that we have. So my goal is just to make sure that we continue to have the right people in place to support the agriculture industry and to provide consumer protection to our citizens. We like to brag a little bit. We're often known as the best managed agency in state government. I'm not sure that every agency would agree with us, but we have heard that, and so I want to.
That's a nice feather in your cap.
Yeah, if we're not number one, we want to stay up at the top to be the best managed state agency. But we want to do that by supporting our citizens and supporting our farmers. And one of my goals in doing that is to increase our technology a little bit. We've had a rough time because we don't have a lot of staffing in technology. We have great staff, but not a lot of them. We've actually just started a project to revamp our website because of the diversity of the agency, for one thing. We have so much information out there, but it's not always the easiest to find it. So we're working on a project now that we just kicked off in recent weeks to revamp our website, and we're also working on ways that if people have to do a registration through us for a license or an inspector's license or to register a product, we're working on finding a way for them to do that electronically with the best ease for them and the least amount of trouble.
And there really is. I mean, from food festivals and any type of thing you need to register for, or it's just a wonderful.
If you want to go buy product directly from the farm, it's out there. If you want to buy a Virginia Finest specialty food, it's there. You get our Virginia Grown and virginiagrown.com, which you can get off from our website, and you can go see where the pick your own farms are. So yeah, it's a wealth of information, but we want to make it easier to find the information once you get there.
And that website is vdacs.virginia.gov.
Correct, and Virginia is spelled out.
Okay. Well, we certainly appreciate all that you're doing for Virginia agriculture, and continue to do the good work.
Well, thank you very much, Amy.
We'll be right back.
It's time to start thinking about what to plant in your garden. Today, Chris Mullins has tips on planting and growing blackberries from the ground up.
Hi, today we're going to talk about blackberries. As you can see beside me here, we've got some beautiful plants full of fruit ready to go. And all this fruit shows you that these plants can be a great addition to the home garden. They're very productive. A home gardener could probably get 10 to 20 pounds for each plant over the growing season. So they're a very nice plant, not too much disease and insect problems. They're a perennial crop, so they're going They're going to be here for a long time for you in the garden. One thing you have to think about, though, if you're going to plant blackberries, is site selection. And one of the things you need is a site that's got full sun, and you need to think about, as these plants get bigger, having plenty of room. So you don't want to put them too close. You can see these rows are about 10 feet apart, and spacing within the row is about 4 to 5 feet between each plant. So plenty of space and full sun, and that's a good site for blackberries. Now let's go look at how we might start planting these plants. Well, as you're thinking about planting, one of the first things you need are plants. And you can buy bare-rooted plants that can be put in the ground in a lot of Virginia in March. And potted plants with the root ball attached can be put in after the last frost. They can be put into ground that's got a pH of around 6.5 to 7. Sandy soil is very good. Heavier soils, if you can amend it with some organic matter, will do very well for blackberry. Blackberry plants can require a lot of water throughout the season, and this is one way to irrigate or provide water through this drip irrigation line. Water comes down here and drips out right at the base of the plant. They might require as much as 1 inch a week during the growing season. And another thing that helps keep that moisture in is mulch. The mulch that you see here is a hardwood mulch, and it can be applied to the surface here. It'll of course keep weeds down, and probably more importantly, it'll keep that soil moisture in the ground.
You just need a couple
Different types of blackberries, some that have thorns on the stem and some that are thornless. Of course, the thorn varieties are going to stick you a little bit when you work on them. So thornless varieties can be nice for the home gardener, and there are lots of different types of those, lots of different varieties. Some produce crops earlier, some produce crops midsummer, and some late summer. So if you were a home gardener that wanted to put all 3 of those types in there, it would give you a longer range of harvest throughout the whole summer. Now, one thing that blackberries need are going to be a trellis system. These plants grow up, but they will fall over, so they need to be trellised up on wires. What you see here is a trellis system that has, that's called a V-trellis system, and it has wires, about 6 wires, high tensile wires, and they are going to be holding up the canes. As they grow up, the canes are tied to these wires, and it just supports them, keeps them from falling down, gives you a lot of air movement through there, so you'll have less disease problems. This is something that you can build the first season because you don't need it that first season, but it can be a very important part of your blackberry production area in your garden. So after you have done all this work, one of the things that you really get to enjoy are the fruits of your labor. These beautiful, large-sized blackberries, sweet and juicy, ready to eat for you and your neighbors. For more information about blackberry production, please contact your local county extension office. From the ground up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
Taking a look at the ag calendar, the Taste of Spring Festival will be held April 11th at the Tides Inn in Irvington. Celebrate all things spring with Virginia craft beers, hard ciders, wines, and regional fare from area restaurants and food vendors. More events are happening in the days prior, so be sure to visit tidesinn.com for more information. That does it for our show. Thanks so much for watching and have a great week. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
This program is brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. From apples to zucchini, Virginia farmers work hard to put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Check out Virginia Farming on Facebook. Virginia Farming's Facebook page is a great way to stay connected with Virginia agriculture. You might even find some humor there too. You'll find links to events and happenings all over the Commonwealth that are of interest to farmers and consumers alike. So connect with us and share your stories and photos with the Virginia farming community and keep up to date on all things agriculture. Virginia Farming on Facebook.
We all want healthy rivers and streams, but we can't do that without help from Virginia's landowners. Resource Management Plans, or RMPs, are part of a voluntary program that helps farmers get credit for cleaning up our waters. And once you have an RMP, you are exempt from any new water quality requirements for 9 years. The Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation has funds available to help you implement these plans. Contact the department today to learn more. Thank you.
This message sponsored by Virginia's agriculture community.